Hello everyone, I hope I'm live. I just checked my phone. I think I'm live. I hope I'm live. Just go back and refresh. There we are. All good. I'll just straighten the camera a little bit. I need to go up this way or down this way. I'm not going to zoom in today because I think sometimes if I go too far in it gets a bit blurry. So I'll just see how that is. That will be fine. I won't zoom in any further. I think everyone's right. If you can see me, say hello if you're watching. Good morning, Dickie Lynch, and good morning, Corinne. Good morning, Kathy from Ohio. Excuse me while I have a cough. Just a tickle in my throat. I woke up this morning with a really sore back. I've got a heat pack on my back and I've taken a couple of Panadol and it's eased off quite a bit. But I think I just slept crooked. Good morning from Canberra, Anne. Hello. Nice to have you on. I'm a little bit excited about doing this project today. I've done this quite a while ago. I think there's a YouTube video up of mine from quite a while back. But I thought I'd just do a refresh here. I might just zoom in a tiny bit because it's a bit far away. See how that goes. I don't think it's too far in. Good morning, Helen. Showers and wind in Caboolture today, trying to get my washing dry. I washed the 2 rugs off our recliner chairs and I hope it doesn't rain before I get them in. I was going to do them yesterday, but my future son-in-law was here cleaning all our gutters and eaves, and I thought I don't need all that water splashing around on my washing. You're not too late, Maureen. We haven't started yet. Good morning, Vicky. Oh, I think I said hello to Vicky. Good morning, Glenda. How are you? I'll see you on Wednesday, I think. I think you're coming this Wednesday. I've got my list there. Yes, I've got you down. Coming Wednesday. I've got my first workshop for November tomorrow on a Sunday, and then the second one of the same month is on Wednesday. I've got 14 ladies this month. Good morning, Nerida. I'll just say hello to a few people while we're waiting for them to come on. Don't think I had anything else to say. This is quite a simple way of doing your cards. 9:30 p.m. in Newfoundland. Yes, that would be, I'm assuming you're in America, Newfoundland in America. Most of America, it's on the Friday evening, the night before. So it's nice to have you on. I know the UK, one lady messaged on my post this morning and said it was 2 a.m. in the morning there. So, but you can always go in and watch the replay. I pin the replays of my videos to the featured tab. So if you want to go back and have a refresh on how to do this, it's always there to watch later. Just go into the featured tab and all the videos are there. There will be a PDF, quite an involved PDF, because I'm explaining, and I'll show you what I've typed up this morning, of how to construct your box. This is just a standard box. It's got a reinforced lid, this one. And this is one of my candles that I pour. It's bamboo and white lily, and it smells divine. So I'm making a box for that. And I make boxes for a lot of these as gifts. Good morning, Christine. Nice to have you on. Kerry Cow, good morning. I know Kerry, I know your name from somewhere. I'm not sure where. Rings a bell. I'm not sure whether, I don't think I've met you before. Where are you from, Kerry? That name rings a bell from somewhere. anyhow, I think we have lots on at the moment. I'm sure the others will catch up when they come. I'm going to do 2 projects. I'm going to do a box for this little candle and also a box to hold some standard size greeting cards, but there'll be 5 cards in the box, so we'll do a little box for that as well. This one has got the reinforced lid, which makes it quite strong. It sits beautifully. There is a little trick to make sure that your lid fits on your box. That's the most important bit of making a box. If you do it the same size as your base with the lid, then it's not going to fit. It will be too tight. So I'll show you exactly how to do that. Good morning, Bev Jones, Peggy Myers from Florida, Colleen McCulloch from Elliott Lake. Good morning, everyone. We shall get started. Now, what you need to know, first, I shall show you this. This will be a PDF for you to have a look at. So the way you work it, and I'm going to do another box for this candle. So these are the measurements for this one. But in general, I've got a little chart thing here that you can put your measurements in for yourself. You can, if you do them in pencil, then you can rub that out later. But you need to measure the item that you're going. Now, the lid of this will need 12 by 12 because it's reinforced. If you want a box that's quite a big item, unless it fits, by the time you do your measurements, unless it fits onto 12 by 12 cardstock, you'd be better to go and buy a box from the shop. It's only up to a certain size box that you can make. So what you need to do, now this will be a square box even though it's a round item, but anything that is symmetrical or square, then the measurements are pretty easy to do. When we do the card box, you'll see how it's a bit different. Linda Diane McCulloch, good morning from British Columbia, Canada. Diane, good morning. Box looks lovely. Thank you. I'm going to decorate the one we're doing this morning as well. So we'll get back to this. Now, first of all, you measure the size of your item for the that you're going to make the box for. You need the length and the width and the height. So the length, well, for this one, it'll be square. So I'm making it, it's 3 1/4. If I do 3 inches, it's a little bit tight. So I've gone a little bit bigger, which is 3 1/4 inches. So this is my base, 3 1/4 inches square. The sides of the box, which are this here. So if it's a square item, it'll just be up here. And I've gone a little bit higher. You don't want it flush sitting. You could go 2 1/4, but I think that will be a bit tight. So I don't go into the eighths measurements. I'm going 2 1/2 for the height. So that's 2 1/2 height. So, and then the lid, I'll show you that. It's a little bit different. It's the same as the square base, 3 1/4, which is 3 1/4 square. And then the lid, it's 1 1/2 inches high, but it's a little bit different because you've got to do a double thickness on here. So I'll explain that when we get to it. So I'll just use a pencil and fill this in, even though I've got it down here. So your sides, your base, sorry, the side is 2 1/2 inches high. So that's the side measurement. So you'll put that there, 2 1/2 inches. My base is the 3 1/4. 3 1/4, which is there. That's correct. And then another side, 2 1/2. This will give you the size of the cardstock you need to make your box. So you want 2 lots of height and 1 lot across. I won't go into if it's a rectangle or anything. We'll do that on the next one. It's a little bit different. So this is for a square box. So you've got 2 1/2 plus 3 1/4 plus 2 1/2. 2 2 1/2s is 5 plus 3 1/4 is 8 1/4. So that's the size of your cardstock, 8 1/4 square. That's for the base. I've got that here, 2 1/2 plus 3 1/4 plus 2 1/2 equals 8 1/4. Now the lid, it's reinforced, so there's, and it's shorter so that you can, excuse me if I don't say hello to anyone because I'm concentrating on this. Thanks, Diane. That was the last one. So my lid, it's I don't want it right down to the bottom here. I want it up shorter so you get the contrast of colours across it. My lid is 1.5 inches high, but you've also got the reinforced bit, which this one I did make a little bit shorter, and I'll show you that in a minute. But the best bet is to go 1.5 inches that way and that way. So you've got double the height of the sides. So you've got a side which is 1.5 inches, plus another side which is 1.5 inches. Side. I've got the lines in the wrong place there. Oh no, this is plus your base. Your base is the same as the top one, which is 3.25. Yes, 3.25. And then another 2 1.5s. That will give you a reinforced section. If you want it just not reinforced, you just have 1 1.5, so you wouldn't have that second one there. You just have it straight. I like any small boxes. I love them reinforced. They just make a nice comfortable little box that gives you more stability on the lid. So we've got 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 3.25 plus 1.5 plus 1.5, and that equals 9.25. So your lid will be 9.25 inches square. Let me know if you're not understanding what I'm saying, and I shall endeavour to answer your questions. So we shall just get some cardstock out and I will show you. Now there is a little trick, and I've got it written here. When cutting your base piece, you cut 1/16, which I call a smidge, smaller than the required before you score. This allows the lid to fit correctly. I'll put that aside. Now my base, this is my base. I've chosen Garden Green. And as I mentioned before, it's going to be 8.25 inches square. And what I find the best thing to do, so you don't forget to take the smidge off, I cut it to the size I want, which was 8.25. Our measurements in Australia, the cardstock for A4 is 8.25, so that's exactly right there. And then I need another 8.25 over this side, so I'm going to cut that off there. I haven't cut anything this morning. We'll cut it all. Now, to make it a little bit smaller, then so the lid will fit on comfortably, you only need a smidge off 2 adjoining sides. So one side there and one side there, so they're adjoining here. You don't need to do it on all 4 sides, otherwise it's going to be way too small and your lid will be flopping around everywhere. So I just go to that the grey line on your trimmer, or 1/16 of an inch, if that makes sense. Actually it's past the grey line. It's that first little mark. I don't know if you can see that there. That first little mark past the track. And I'm doing that on 2 sides only. I'll push this arm back in. Thanks, Corinne. So just put what I call a smidge. A lot of people call it a smidge. So we're just taking off that little bit on 2 adjoining sides. And I do cut it to the correct size first and then take the smidges off after. You can do it the other way, and I'll explain the other way as well. It was 8.25. So if you just move it 1 mark, there's my 8.25. So if you move it 1 mark in and cut it at that, and then cut the same on the other side, on the square side, so you're cutting 2 sides. But I prefer to take it off after. You're only wasting that little smidge of cardstock anyway. So that makes it that fraction small. And you've got to do that before you score. Don't try and do it after. It won't make any difference to the size of your box. It'll just make the sides a bit smaller. You want the base a bit smaller. So I've got that on there. Cut smidge off 2 adjoining sides before scoring. And then we're going to score at the height, which was 2.5 inches. And that's on all 4 sides. So we're going to score 2.5. I hope I don't make a mistake while I'm doing all this, otherwise I'll have to start again. I think I'm right, but I've done this quite a few times. So all 4 sides you're scoring at 2.5. Just make sure you take that smidge off before you do this. 2.5. Now cutting, we'll do all of the base first, and then we'll get back to the lid. Now we'll fold and burnish this first because it's, as you know, I think it's easier to cut on a score line. So I'm just going around and burnishing those. Just make sure the sides are all level. I'll show you in this one here. Now I did take off, I'll show you what after we've cut, and you don't have to do it, but if sometimes it makes it a bit bulky otherwise. So I'm cutting up 1 score line just to this is on all 4 corners, up to the first score line like that. And the same with this one, up to the first score line like so. Now these are your tabs on the outside corners, so you need to notch those. So we'll go up, start a little bit wider and go up to nothing, to the point where I've got a little dish here to put my scraps in. And you can do that on both sides of your tab. Your tab is the outside section. And the same with this one. No need to do this middle one. Otherwise your box, you'll see where it's tapered in and it doesn't look as nice. So leave that one not notched. So that's that there. Turn it around 180, and I don't go one this corner, then one that corner, one that. I go straight across to the other side. So both my tabs are exactly the same on each side. It's up to you which, some people who have made boxes before do it a little bit different to this. But if I'm teaching someone, this is how I do it. So I've notched this one. And this one. And then up that score line, just to that first score line. Don't cut the whole square out, otherwise you won't have a tab to put your box together. And that may sound funny, but I did have a lady that did that years ago at one of my workshops. She cut the whole corner out. I said, now how are you going to make a box? We got her another piece of cardstock. So that's like that. Now, I'll show you what I mean here. When you fold these in, you can see that overlaps there, which makes it quite thick, which it wouldn't hurt if you leave it on there. I don't know if you can see that in there. They're overlapping these. Depends on the size of your box. If it goes a bit bigger, you probably won't have, or the height of your box, you won't have as much overlap in there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take half of that off, and I'll show you the easiest way to do it. You don't have to do this. You can leave them as whole. I fold the side of my box inwards, and that was 2.5 inches high, so we'll go 1 1/4. We'll take off. Just line it up there, and you've got these 2 here that I'm going to take off. So that lessens the bulk inside. Same on this side, 1 1/4. I'm using the measurement on this side of my trimmer. You can just freehand cut that if you wish. It doesn't have to be done on your trimmer. I'm usually a bit pedantic when it comes to neatness. I like things nice and neat. So that's the base ready to put together. And we can put that together. And then when you see this, here, those go in. These come in. And that will be the base of your box. And because you cut that smidge off, it's going to be a fraction smaller that you can, it will fit the lid on comfortably. Now I'm using tear and tape, which I always use tear and tape for boxes. It's much more stronger than just, and I don't like glue. It ends up going everywhere, and I don't think it's as strong. So I'll show you my little trick with my tear and tape as well. When you're doing a lot of strips of tear and tape, or red tape, you could use red tape. Red tape's good. I've got the roll of tape in my right hand. I'm right-handed, and these are going on the tabs. Then I've got the lid of my glue, and I just run that along, and give that a flick. Just 2 strips will be enough on this one. Run that along there, which secures the tape down. This is much quicker than picking your scissors up and down and cutting it. You could cut it with your, tear it with your fingernail. I don't do that. I like it nice and neat. So I do it this way. And then all 4 tabs, you want that. This is the base. There was nothing I could do beforehand to prep this because I wanted to show you right from the beginning. It's no good starting assembling something halfway through and you're not sure how it, and sometimes, and I know I'm visual, my daughter is as well, we've got to see something being done to know what you're talking about. It's easy enough to write up instructions for it. Hello from Norway, May. And Diane, great little tip, thank you. Good morning from Rockhampton, Kay. So I'm just burnishing those again, just so that they're nice and secure. And we can do one side at a time. I'll just get my pick tool. Take the backs off. Use my little dish again. Doesn't matter which side you do first. I usually take off 2 at a time. And this here, you want to make sure that that's lined up nicely. That's why you didn't notch those straight edge ones there, because that lines up and gives you a nice crisp edge down that side. Just line those up there. And that's that side of your box. The base is almost done. And I don't decorate the base. It's mainly the lid you want some decoration on. The base is just there to hold the item that you're making the box for. And the same on this side. We're going to line that up down there. And I'm pretty confident that the lid's going to fit because I've taken that smidge off the base. So there's my base. And as you can see, that fits comfortably. I made it a little bit bigger. I didn't want it super tight. You can always stuff a bit of tissue down in there if you need to. So that's that part. Now the lid, I had to go into 12 by 12. I'm making a red lid only because I'm doing it reinforced, which is the double-sided piece. And we'll go back to this. So my lid, it was 1.5 inches high because I want to show, as you can see on this one, I want to show part of the base. So the lid's going to be a bit shorter. So it's 2 lots because it's reinforced. So we've got 2 lots of 1.5, the 3 1/4 base, and 2 lots of 1.5. So that equals 9 1/4 square. And we won't be cutting any smidge off this one. And there's a little trick to doing the corners as well. So 9 1/4. Which is there. You will need 12 by 12 for this piece. You won't fit it on if you do a smaller box, you can. You could do a bigger box you've got still a fair bit of, make sure that's right, a fair bit of extra there that you could go a little bit bigger for your box. It doesn't have to be this small. So that's that. Now our scoring, I allowed 1.5. Yes, 1.5. I was going to show you something different, but I won't. You could do it, the reinforced bit, and I've done it before, and it's on this one as well. This inside piece here, I've made it a little bit shorter, but I won't do that. It'll only confuse you with the scoring and things on the lid. So we want 1.5 inches high. Oh, is it 1.5? Yes, 1.5. Yes. And we're going to score at 1.5. And for the reinforced, we need another 1.5. So that's 3 inches. So you're doing 2 lots of scoring on each side. 1.5. And 3 on on each side. 1.5. I've got some decorations cut for this, but I'll probably 1.5 and 3. I'll put them on later, so I'm not holding you up, and I'll put a picture up in the group as well. So 1.5 and 3. I will explain when I've done the cutting what I meant with the smaller bit inside. Good morning, Anne. Better late than never. Yes, I'll put the replay up in the featured tab. You can catch up with it later. So I'm folding and burnishing all of these score lines. The box I'm doing next is not a reinforced lid, so I'll show you. It's quite easy to do, and it holds. You could make it bigger to hold more cards as well. So with this one, to make your reinforced bit. So these two outside sections here are going to be part of your reinforced. This outside one here will fold down into there. So what you need to do to make your tabs, you're going to remove these 3 outside squares, and on each corner. I'll show you how to do that. So that's the 3 on the corners of each corner. So what you need to do, you need to start one corner, and we're going exactly the same as before, starting in one corner, up there, but you're doing 2 lots of cutting, and up there. And I've got crosses on both of these, so both of those are going. Mark it yourself if you don't feel confident what you're cutting. Put the crosses on first. So I've removed those 2 and just one of these, and that takes away your 3 outside corners, and you're left with your tab. That tab needs to be notched as well. And I'll show you in a minute what other parts you need to notch. Now we'll go across here and do this one. So we're going up there and up here. Remove the 2 outside ones and half of that one, and then notch your tab. Now, I'll show you how this works before we go to the other side. This comes in, so you'll have tape on these 2 tabs, and then this will come over that, like so, and then it'll go down inside. What you can do, because this outer side piece here, it gets tucked down, so that it's not going to catch in there, you can notch the out. It's actually a tab that's getting folded inside. So take a smidge off that there, just the outside to that score line across there, and that way it'll fit comfortably in there. You could also take a smidge off here, so it will fit comfortably in there. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to show you this, and it would be the easiest way is to do a different scoring. So I won't get into that. This should still go, it'll still fit down in there. If it's going to catch down in there, just take a smidge off the bottom of that. You'll see when you do it whether it needs it or not. This one should be fine. So then we'll go to the other side and we'll do the rest of the cutting. Just saying hello Anne Kay from Rockhampton. Hello Laura, finally catching you live. Hello Angelique. Lovely name. So we're going the same again, up here and up here. Take the 2 outside ones off where your crosses are. It's so much easier if you mark it for yourself first. You know you're not cutting the wrong piece off. And then we'll notch that one. That's your little tab. That tab holds the whole box together pretty much. And then over to this side, up that one, and up this one. I will decorate this fairly quickly before I finish this box because it's easier to decorate while it's flat. So I'll show you how to do that. Just have a mouthful of water. I don't know why I put it so far away. And then I'm going to notch this outside tab here, just so it comfortably fits in when you fold it inwards. We'll get rid of all that bits of scrap into the bin. I usually end up with little bits of snippings everywhere. Now, the tear and tape, we can put that on first. Lid on my glue. And we'll just do the tabs, and the piece that goes down inside, I'll just use some liquid glue on that because it's easy enough. You could put tear and tape. I'll show you where that would go. We'll just use two. It should hold it together comfortably. All 4 tabs need tape, and you're folding it over. The tape goes on, if it's arched up like a little hut, have it sitting that way when you put your tape on. Don't do it on the other side. Well, you could, if you did do it on the other side, you just do your score lines back the other way. So it wouldn't be a mistake. It'll just be doing it in the reverse. You just burnish your score lines backwards if you put the tape on the wrong side. Now, these ones here, that eventually will get folded in. You could put a strip of tear, if you fold it back over the other way, you could put tear and tape along these ones here, the very outside pieces, but I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue when we get to it. It doesn't really need tape. It's not one of the parts that hold the actual box together. Morning Merle from Ballina, not far away. What is the little doohickey that you use to cut the tape? Oh, sorry, that was earlier on. That's the lid of my Tombow glue. My liquid glue, it's just the lid. And it saves you picking your scissors up and down. Hold your tape in the hand that you normally work with, your right hand, and use that to just hold it firmly, and you tear it that way. That's all that is. It's nothing special. I'm sure everyone's got liquid glue. And now these are going, oh, I've got a little bit sticking up there. Cutter from the cutter, my Stampin' Up trimmer. That's a trimmer. It's got a cutting blade and a scoring blade. That's Stampin' Up. I buy all my products from Stampin' Up, and that's the Stampin' Up trimmer. Best trimmer in the world. Well, I think it is anyway. So I'm just going around and putting these in. And we'll take that off those. You can do all your tabs first. Thanks, Merle. I've been doing that trick. It's when if you're only doing a couple of strips, just cut it with your scissors. But if you're doing something that's got a lot of tape, it's a very handy, quicker way of doing it. I'm always in a hurry when I do something. So those 4 are going together, like so. And then these just will fold down in. And just push one down in and make sure it's not catching down in there, which it's not. They should all fit in there. I don't know if I burnish that one there. I haven't. You need to notch these so they don't catch on the edge, which I didn't do that one. I think I did all the others. So I'll just notch that one. They can be notched because they're not showing. It's only ones where they show that you wouldn't notch. And I didn't do this side either. I must have done the first side, not the second side. Now we'll just put a bit of liquid glue on that when it comes out. New bottle, not a new bottle, but I haven't used this one for a while. We'll just squeeze it into something. There it is. Now it's fine. So just a little bit of glue in those. You can do all four. It's just to hold it in there. You could just leave them loose if you want to without gluing in. And that's what you call a I meant to put the decoration on first, but you can do it now. I'll show you where it goes. If you do it while it's flat, it is easier. I meant to do that, but I got carried away. When you're doing your decorating on your lid, it will go on the inner pieces of here. If you're not sure, put your box together first. But when it's out flat, it doesn't go on this outer panel here. When it's flat, it goes on the inner one, and then you've got your top lid bit as well. I meant to do all that beforehand, which some of you, if you've made boxes before, you usually decorate it while it's flat. Just push all of those in, and the big test is whether it fits over the base. So all of those are nicely in there. I won't confuse you with the scoring by doing the shorter reinforced section. These work quite well. Just going around making sure they're all stuck down. And as you see, Laura has cut something wrong. What did I cut wrong? I did cut it wrong. We'll find the other one. Let's see what that does. That one's right. I think I've made my base a bit too big. It should fit. The beauties of live TV. I'm going to go with that. I shall fix it later, but do what I say. I don't know what I've done wrong there. Hang on, and I'll measure this one. And I've gone a fraction over there. That's a fraction too big. So go by the measurements I gave you. Now I'm going to decorate this lid. I've torn that a little bit there. But I'm going to decorate it anyway, and I'll fix the base. So I won't decorate it now because I'll show you how to do this other box. So I've got 4 of these. They're going to go around those outside pieces. I'll do this off camera later. Those 4 are going to go around there. This one here, and I've got some of these I've cut out as well. This is a new Stampin' Up set. I'll put all the details in the PDF. And then I've just got this little For You on the top of that. So that's how it works. I won't put it together because I know it's not fitting. I think I've done this a fraction wrong, but I'll fix it before we put it together. That is the first box. That's your reinforced box. I'm sorry it didn't quite fit, but it will if you follow my measurements properly. We'll put this one together. Yes, Angelique, I sometimes do that, but sometimes it's easy enough to do it after. I'll put the same thing instead of the lid. If you can use a block. Oh, so our blocks, Stampin' Up blocks are quite thick. I'm not sure whether I use a block. Our blocks are like that, so that's quite bulky. There is a tiny one there. Maybe if you have a thinner block it would work, but Stampin' Up blocks are quite thick. So that's that. Now we'll go on to the card one. This is a box and it's not got a reinforced lid on this one. So I've got 5 cards here. They're all in cello bags and envelopes with them. And that's the size box I want to make. You could make it bigger and put 10 cards in if you want. So you work out your measurements exactly the same. So my box that I want, it's 6 3/4, which the size of the envelope is roughly 6 3/8, 6 1/4. I'm going to go a little bit bigger. I could go 6 1/2, but might be a bit tight. I've gone 6 3/4 for my base. The length, the width will be 5 inches, which is across that way. I'm making it a little bit bigger so they're not tight in there. 5 inches across, and the height is, I think I've done 1 1/2. Yes, I did 1 1/2. So if you've got more cards, you would just go higher. You could go to 2 inches, 2 1/2, anything. The more cards you want to put in the box, the higher you'd make your sides. So this one I'm doing 1 1/2. So 2 1 1/2s for the 2 sides and 6 3/4 if you refer back to my first box. So that's 9 3/4, and this one is a bit different because it's not square. I haven't got a sample to show you on this one. It's the 2 1 1/2s plus the 5 inch width. That gives you 8 inches. So your cardstock size will be 9 3/4 by 8 inches because it's a rectangle, and then you take a smidge off. So we'll do that to start with. That's my lid in the pink. I've got a spare grey one, and this is the base, and I've got some paper to decorate it, and I need my trimmer that I just buried under all my paper. So where did I put that base? 9 3/4 by 8 inches I need, and then I'll cut the smidge off. You're still doing the same, 9 3/4. One of these had a piece of cardstock that was a bit faulty. 9 3/4. By 8 inches, 6, 7, 8 inches, which is a fraction under the width of the cardstock. And then take a smidge off 2 adjoining sides. So 1, and that one's adjoining, which is 2. So you're just making it that smidge smaller all over. And then you're scoring it at 1 1/2, which is the height of your box, and that's on all 4 sides. 1 1/2. I will make another base for that first one and make sure. I'm pretty sure I went a fraction too big in my first cut, and that's what the problem was. I could make another lid, or I can make, I think I might just make another base. It's funny how you can do the same thing over and over and get it right, and as soon as you do a live video, it's wrong. Anyway, we shall fix it. So, same thing here as we did previous. You're just going to cut up, actually I'll fold and burnish these first. Thanks, Angelique. I'll just go around and burnish all of those. The other way, if you didn't want to take a smidge off your base, you could add a smidge to your lid, but I always do it on my base for some reason. It's just how I learnt to do it. And I'm going to notch these tabs. This makes, if you've got a lot of excess cards like I have, and you want to give some away, just as a gift for someone that needs cards for birthdays, sympathy, whatever, a nice idea to do a little gift box to put them in. Just makes it that much more special. And you, as I said, if you make your sides higher, you can fit up to probably 10 cards in it. Just notching these tabs. Only the tabs notched. And then we shall put some tear and tape on. I'll just do, normally I put 3 across something this width, but just for quickness, I'm just doing 2. It will still hold. And the other side. You could get a little, any sort of little thing that you could hold in your hand. It didn't have to be that. I just find it's convenient to grab the lid of my glue. And I'll show you a good thing to do also before you put it together is take your cards and just lay them in there. And as you can see, I've got a little bit of room all the way around, and that's going to sit up like so. At least I know that bit's right. Just need to get the lid right. Everyone must be concentrating on watching, not much commenting. That's okay, because I haven't got time to watch all the time. I'll take these off. Got a workshop tomorrow. I've half set up. My back was so sore this morning, I didn't feel like doing anything, and I hope it's not like that tomorrow morning. And the ladies are here, or they'll be coming to me instead of me going to them around the room. So that's my base, which fits my cards beautifully. And now the lid I'm doing in the pink. This is called Pretty in Pink, and I can use the same size because it's not a reinforced lid. Where am I? I need, that was these instructions. These are the instructions that come in the PDF. So this is the reinforced one. I've got there where you put your pieces and your tape and everything. There's little pictures there. That's your base on those. And that's where you cut your 4 corners, where you cut the pieces off, and that's all your notching as well. So all that comes in the PDF. Greeting box. So the lid, I want the sides at narrower than the base. Now the base was 1.5. I'm going to do it half that so I can see the base. So the lid here, I've got 3/4 as the height of the side. The length of it will be the same, 6 3/4, and then another 3/4 for your other side. So that equals 8 1/4. And then on the short side, the width, it's 5 inches. So it's 3/4 plus 5 inches plus 3/4, which is 6 1/2. So my cardstock will be 8 1/4 by 6 1/2. And I'm scoring it at 3/4 all the way around. So 8 1/4, which I think is the width. It is the width, I should know that by now. 8 1/4 by 6 1/2. So it's a little bit smaller than what you did for your base, because you're just double checking that. Because your height of the lid is a little bit narrower, so you can see the grey on the base. So this one we're doing 3/4 of an inch all the way around, and I'm going on this side of my trimmer because it gives you a nice flat edge at the top. And you're just doing the 1 score all the way around, not like you did with the reinforced. This is just 1 score measurement all the way around. You could do a reinforced lid on this one too, but I just wanted to show you. You do it the same as you did. You do twice 3/4. You have to make it 3/4 on 2 sides bigger. Just use the same theory as you did with the base, with the lid on the other one. But use your measurements for this. It works the same. Finishing all those. Cut up my tabs. I'm going on the long side this time. It doesn't matter which side, so long as you stick to the same size. Up there, just your tabs you're notching. We had our roof painted a few weeks ago now, and we had a feature thing at the front that was the same colour as the old roof. So my hubby got up there yesterday and painted that to the colour of the new roof. It looks so much better. He almost got finished, and down came a storm. It bucketed down, and my future son-in-law was here. He was cleaning all the gutters, and he had to stop. He finished them all, and then he decided to do our pavers around the side, clean all them off, which wasn't in the job description, but he did it anyway. And he didn't quite get finished, but hubby can finish that another day. So the house is looking, on the outside, looking nice now. New roof, new gutters, new pavers. I'll have to go around, get hubby one day, and we'll go around and wash the windows now, because with the spray, my future son-in-law sprayed the screens yesterday, which got all the dust out of them, which was excellent, but it did leave the windows a little bit messed up. So we'll do that another day and go and clean the windows, but we won't have to do the screens. So that's those 4. Now I will do the lid of this first before we put it together. So I want some DSP on the top, which that is 6 3/4. I'm going to go 6 1/2. Oh no, yeah, this is the 6 1/2 by 4 3/4. I'm going to put some grey matte. Four 3/4. I'll go this way. 6 1/2. And 4 3/4. This is a mat for the lid. This is just extra. That'll fit on there. And then some DSP. I've got the measurements on there. 6 1/4 by 4 1/2. And this is not directional. 4 1/2. By 6 1/4. 6 1/4, which is right on there. I usually have to lift it to see the 1/4 inch mark on the join. So I'm going to put that on there and that on there. I'm not going to do the actual sides. You could put paper on the sides as well if you wish. They're a little bit narrow. This glue just doesn't want to come out this morning. There it is. I'll show you how to do the ribbon actually. So that's a mat and some DSP for the lid. I'm going to put some ribbon. Don't know where that pin went. Probably in my lap. So I'm going to tuck the ribbon underneath this. Got that bit there. and another bit this way, and we'll do that before we stick that mat down. And some glue dots. I put them aside because I didn't think I need them. I hope there's a few people with me. Oh, thanks. Yes, they do. Actually, they're due to be done this week because they're getting a bit long. So I'm going to get them cut in a different colour. Yes, they do match the ribbon. This is pretty in pink. So I'm just putting some glue dots on the ends of these and one in the middle just to hold it down. Sometimes I wrap the ribbon right down underneath the sides as well. That glue dot didn't go on that side because it's on my finger. Put that one on there. There's none on that side, keeps coming off on my finger. I'll put it over here. Just a bit of decoration. I hope a few people are still with me. I know I did say it was going to be a bit longer this morning because I wanted to show you both ways of doing your box. So that's that. Then that can get glued down. Actually, I'll put another glue dot underneath that middle bit. Just to the side because I'm going to tie a bit of ribbon in there. It's just wind outside. I thought it was raining, but it's not. It's just a bit of a breeze. Doesn't look as though it's going to rain. So that will go on there. Like so. Then you can put your box together. Take off the backings off your tape. One of the ladies that comes to my workshop, she uses red tape for everything. She doesn't, very rarely uses glue unless I tell her she has to. 99% of the time she uses red tape. And red tape, the backings get stuck to everything. Yes, Laurel, I love pink and grey. There is a darker grey as well with Stampin' Up. This one's called Smoky Slate. The other one is Basic Grey, and pink and grey. Any pink and any grey go lovely together. So that's that. And the test this time. And it fits perfectly. No bulging this time. So that is that. You could wrap your own ribbon around, but then it means people have got to keep untying it all the time to open the box. I'm just going to do a little knot in the center here. Doesn't need a bow, just a knot's fine, just to bring it all together. I'll use my new scissors. These are the scissors my friend Annette gave me for a gift. It was at our retreat. It's got little butterflies on it. It was so pretty. And they're super sharp. I'll shorten those a little bit. Could have made the ribbon a bit smaller. There we go. And that's your little box. You can put a little greeting on that. It will hold, even this one will hold a couple of more cards in there. There's only 5 in there. but fits beautifully onto the lid. I've got, it's a tiny bit big, but it's not too bad. I'd rather that than too tight. And that's our other little reinforced box. So I hope you've kept up with me today. Go back. Thanks, Corinne. Coffee can wait until you're finished. I am finished now. Thanks, Glenda. Go back and watch the replay if you need further instructions anyway. I will put, it'll be a little while. I'll do an in-depth, I've got most of the PDF done, but I will do lots more information on it so it's easy to follow. I'll fix up this other box as well. Thanks for your patience. That was nearly an hour, but I hope it's worth it for everybody. And I shall catch you all next week. I'm not sure if it'll be a craft along. I have got another little project there that I could do and you can just watch. So I might just do that. Thanks, Helen. No, the cutting board doesn't have a template for envelopes. There is a separate one, but Stampin' Up! Don't sell them anymore. There is an envelope punch board that you can buy. If you just go onto eBay or somewhere and type in envelope punch board, you'll see I have still got one in the cupboard there somewhere. But it tells you this is just a cutter and scorer. Thanks, Diane. Thanks, Elizabeth and Trish. Thanks. Thank you, everyone. Now, everyone, hop on and make a box and post it in the group. Love to see all your boxes. And I'll catch you all again next week. Bye for now.